Hello, everybody. It's Bill's that college football guy here with another video. Yeah, I'm at home recording this video. Thought I knew this one was gonna be on the road by the time this is coming out, but everybody, well, not everybody, but a lot of people lost their ever-loving minds when the media deal valuation proposal and the chart came out from Tony Altimore of how much the schools in the ACC are making. And oh my God, they're paying this much more money for the ACC. They're making so much money. The Big 12 is going to leave. And did you even bother to think about this? That the chart we're talking about. There's a chart you can find on Tony Altimore at TJ Altimore. He always puts out great stuff. Projected media payouts for 2026 and 2031. And I looked at the chart. I'm like, okay, SEC, Big 10 in line, SEC in line, Big 12 31.7 million in line, ACC 51.3. Is that for the entire conference? No. Remember, they're going to be giving a supposedly, and this is rumored, unconfirmed media deal that everybody's getting a base pay, and based upon performance, you can earn more than that. The 51.3 of those who are base pay can earn more than that. We're talking Florida State, Clemson, North Carolina, Miami. They're making that much. How much is everybody else making? Not that much. Because if you think about it, if you're going to raise everybody's value up to 51.3, how far are you have to drop everybody else down? No better than what the current deal is. But they're going to get the top four spots are going to make more money. A way to keep them in the conference. Kind of like what the Mountain West did with UNLV and Air Force. But there's two other things in that chart because I brought up the Mountain West for a reason because I looked at the media valuations for everybody, his projected estimates. Big 12, 31.9 million. The Americans making 9.6 million. Pac-12's making 9. Pac-12's making 9 million, which is in their line. They have the 6.9 million for the American. No, it's 7 and certain schools make 8, so that's wrong. And you have an estimate for the Mountain West at 6.5 million. PJ, I love you to death, bro, but seriously, you need to stop smoking the hopium when you come up with some of these estimates, because 6.5, no way in hell the Mountain West is making that much. No, they're not. No. They're not making that much. Because if the Pac-12 only makes 9 million and the Mountain West ends up making 6.5, somebody in the Pac-12, I told this before and I've said this on extra repeated times, if the Pac-12 media deal isn't at least double the Mountain West media deal, Teresa Gould needs to be fired. Because the fact is, you made all these promises that you made that you could deliver this, and when it comes time to put up or shut up, you can't. Because Boise State got promised a lot. And if they don't get it, as we said from the side part of the subject, MOUs are not legal, right? Well, that means the ones you guys didn't sign, so maybe Boise will go somewhere else. But the ACC, main point of this, the ACC, this is not for everybody. This is just the top 4 schools. Now, as the Big 12 schools, oh God, we can leave to go make the. There's also the rumor going on with the ACC media deal that they're extending the end. They're going to shorten the deal from 2037 to 2031, or lessen the buyout. Keep the deal until 2037, but starting the year 2030 or whatever year it ends up being in the deal, pick your choice. It drops down from $500 million, and 2031 would still be $200 million, and drop it down to say 50, 75 million bucks. And the 4 schools can leave, or more schools can leave, and the existing deal would extend to everybody in the conference till 2037. So those who can afford the buyout to make the move would make the move. Because Florida State and Clemson, even with this, they're still not staying. There's a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, maybe. Because everybody has had Florida State and Clemson penciled in. They're going to the SEC. Nobody in the SEC wants. The SEC, they're not needed. I've said this before, and I have to repeat this again. I have had people on there talk to people who are donors as to, like, well, now we got Texas and Oklahoma here. Who else are we going to bring in for value? Who's going to be coming in and doing more expansion to get more value in the conference? And he just started to laugh and turned back at me and said, not unless Notre Dame, Ohio State, and Michigan are going to join. Nobody else can raise the value. Everybody else was told is less or the same. So you're not raising any value. So if you're not bringing up any more money, why are you bringing them in? And also comes the fact with ESPN. Who does ESPN want? ESPN wants Florida State and Clemson in the conference. And they also want North Carolina in the conference. And they want NC State in the conference to get both of them. And like the SEC's like, dude, you get to pick two. And we're picking North Carolina. If we have to do, it's a choice between Florida State and Clemson, North Carolina and NC State. They'll say, we'll take North Carolina and Clemson. NC State can go somewhere else. And let NC State play some, let North Carolina play some calimony to NC State, and let them, NC State, go to the Big 12, and let North Carolina pay them some calimony while they're in the SEC. Because North Carolina, I said this before, and I did this video I said this a long time ago. So it's been, for some of you who are new to the channel, don't know this, I've talked to people who are in the ACC, and including a friend of mine who actually works at the University of North Carolina. Said too much just saying that. But he went and talked to some of the student athletes because he's around the athletic department and asked them flat out, where would you rather be? And they said he didn't get anybody from the football team. He didn't get anybody from men's basketball, but he got women's basketball and pretty much all the other Olympic sports. And where would they prefer to go? If they had to switch conferences, where would they go? And North Carolina all said the same thing. One, stay in the ACC. And if they can't, go to the SEC. Because ACC, they're familiar with it. Even with going cross country to Cal and Stanford, they're more familiar with it. So they can't do that, then let's go with the SEC because at least it's closer to home. Athletes want to be closer to home. North Carolina doesn't really want to go to the Big Ten. They would prefer to be closer to home to the SEC. If they have to switch conferences, which is coming down to it because of money, they're going to have to switch conferences. Now, would the SEC take North Carolina and NC State in the future? I'll be honest with you, I don't know. Because that would drop the value. Is ESPN willing to pay full freight for both? And we're not going to have to pick up anything. In order for us to get North Carolina and NC State, we need something else, because I've told you this. North Carolina is valued, Virginia is valued, but they also want Kansas and West Virginia. They want to expand out west a little bit. They want to make the old heads happy and bring in West Virginia in. They'd like to bring in Kansas because they same thing like Greg Sankey is a fan of Brett Yormark and likes his idea of a separate basketball media deal. And if they can get the best basketball brands from the ACC and the Big 12 and add them both into the SEC, there's no question who the best basketball conference is, and that gives them even more money and more tournament spots. So it makes the world go round, right? So people put out gullibly, and I will say this, that Big 12 schools are going to leave to go to the ACC. If you're going to leave to go to a conference that's going to lose Florida State, Clemson, Miami, North Carolina, possibly NC State, they could lose 6 to potentially 8 because of the deal going out. Like, we know Florida State and Clemson, they pack their bags. They just don't know what the hell car they're going into to take them where. They're gone. North Carolina's gone. NC State, unfortunately, because of state regs, may be part of the package unless they can do some calimony type situation. So NC State's going to be on the book. They're going to be gone. Miami's gone. They're going to be out of here. Because if North Carolina can't go, if Florida State can't go, Big Ten would go after Virginia, but they prefer to go after big money matchups. They want Florida State and Miami. And if they couldn't get Florida State and Miami, one or the other in Virginia would be okay. And Virginia would be more than happy to go. As far as I know, Virginia and Virginia Tech are not tied together. Let me know in the comments section. I don't think they are. Not like North Carolina and NC State, but that's still not confirmed either. Because everything's suspect nowadays, isn't it? But, so if those schools leave, they lose to up to 8, because the fact is there are 2 schools who are in the ACC who would make a lateral move, and that's exactly what it would be, a lateral move to the Big 12 to get ahead of it. If ESPN Fox is doing it, and just the fact of the matter is this, like, somebody put out the fact, media companies don't decide who goes where. How long have you been paying attention to modern college football? Media networks are facilitating some of these moves in the first place because they know they can make the money. And it helps their value. Fox was kind of in the background helping USC and UCLA and Oregon, Washington facilitate their move to the Big Ten, and ESPN and Fox were helping to move the Four Corner schools over to there, and Cal and Stanford also had an outline to ESPN to get them over to the ACC. Media networks don't have any involvement in it. You're unbearably naive. They do have should they? Hell no, they shouldn't. But they do. They do have a say in this, and they're moving people. And the fact ESPN would rather move ACC schools that have some value to their properties rather than losing them. Now, what's losing them? To the Big Ten. And Florida State, Miami, Virginia, possibly Georgia Tech in the future. But this is not, first off, this isn't now. The school, it depends, and the fact is if the deal gets short of 2031. This is all supposition and guesswork because we don't have a final deal in front of us. We have rumor, speculation, and innuendo. It's all the hell we got. Now, we know Florida State and Clemson are gone. North Carolina, they're not making the move with Bill Belichick not to sit behind. They're ready to go somewhere else. NC State's got to tag along. I guess they do. Virginia would like to get out of there. Miami definitely wants to get out of there. You're talking about potentially a school that, because of those brands being gone, who look at the fact that what am I going to stick around for, and is the one school that is considering making the lateral move, and that's exactly what it would be, because the fact they would rather take the chances in being in the Big 12 than being in the ACC, where the deal could be smaller, and that's Louisville. I said this a while back, so I'm a truck driver, and those of you know this, I've been talked about my accident and everything else I had, but I drive through Louisville all the time, and I drive by the stadium and the University of Louisville all the time. And from the interstate, when I first started going by it, there is ACC flags everywhere. There were ACC logos on the football stadium. It was just everywhere. And now, nothing except for in front of the tennis courts, one torn red ACC flag. That's the only ACC logo anywhere on damn campus from the interstate. Now, I can't go in with a semi, but that's when I can see from the interstate, and I can see a hell of a lot of it. So what are you saying? And I found this out a while back, and you can go back to some of my videos. There are people within the University of Louisville are not exactly happy with what the ACC is doing, and they'd rather be having the money be closer to home, and maybe they'd like for the academics to get better, but maybe not the pressure the ACC is having because they've been struggling under that weight. They'd like to be able to go at their own pace. The Big 12 says you can go at your own pace. We don't care. So that being said, makes more things more attractive for them to make the lateral move. And I'm saying it will be an improvement. No, it's a lateral move. Let's be real. It'll be a lateral. Any move that school move from the ACC, the Big 12, or the Big 12 to the ACC is a lateral move. You're on the same tier. Tier 1, there's 3 tiers in FBS football right now. Tier 1 is the P2. That's the Big 10 and the SEC. Tier 2 is the ACC and the Big 12. Tier 3 is the G6. Now, some of you were saying the Pac-12, you're going to be there. We're going to be an autonomous conference. You also need to stop smoking the hopium. For those who have, it's been put up on X, it's been put up on there, and someone brought up the NCAA rule, and every single time that post comes up with that NCAA rule, it mysteriously gets deleted. But it explains the 50 to 75 rule that was set because of the Big 12, and they're in danger of dropping below 8 schools. Final template was done when the Pac-12 happened. If someone can find that rule, the 50% to 75% rule, in regards to autonomous conferences, you can find it, put it up in the comments. Let me know. Because I've been trying to find the damn thing, and I still can't find it. It was up for a while and mysteriously vanished. Wonder why. But, so do I see any school from the Big 12 going to the ACC? No. Do I see any school from the ACC going to the Big 12? Only if the deal ended in 2031. If they push the deal short to 2031, and it's going to be with Florida State and Miami and North Carolina and NC State and Clemson all bailing, what's this conference worth? Because when the Big 12 lost all their value, their media deal plummeted, didn't it? How much will the ACC's plummet? And knowing the fact this is what the Big 12's got, I'm going to let you in on another little secret. Well, anybody's got half a brain's figure this out. The ultimate goal for the P2, for the SEC and the Big 10, is 20 schools each. The Big 12 would like to be there as well. The ACC has no intention of getting that high. The biggest they really want to be is 14. If they went down to 12 or 10, they'd be okay. Some of the hardcores would be okay with that. So you're still talking, if they went to 14, that's 74 schools in 4 conferences. 74. That's more than the current power conferences now. Realistically, would it be that much? Is if the SEC, if the Big 12 got up to 20, I think the ACC be at 12 max, maybe even 10. I doubt 14 will ever come into it because they lose so many schools because of the 50-75 rule. They couldn't add that many G5s. If they're down to like 7, most they can add is 5. They get below 8, that rule starts applying to them. So they don't want to lose that many schools. But the problem is they got 17 football members. They'd have to lose 9 schools to drop, 10 schools to drop below 8 for the ACC. Who the hell would that be? Now, I mentioned the potential candidates. Florida, let's do this here. Florida State, Clemson, who we know are gone. North Carolina, NC State, rumored them they're tied together. We'll see what happens. Miami, those 5. You'd have to get 5 more. Who? Would Duke bail? Would Duke leave? Would Pitt leave? If West Virginia was still in the Big 12, yeah, they might. But the question is, if West Virginia is, like I say, going to end up in the SEC, what's the value of bringing Pitt in? There isn't any. Would you, but this is not imminent. This is what will be happening once the ACC deal. Either we're going to have the 5-year buyout, who can afford that, and the 5-year buyout, I'm figuring 6 schools max. Do it then. When the contract ends in 2037, all bets are off. Because there could be a crazy idea. The Big 12 loses more schools to the SEC. The ACC loses schools to Power 2. They do their little Super League thing, and next thing you know, both of them are going to have to decide either to raid the G6s or merge. A lot of things can happen in the next 6 years, really. But we'll find out answers to most of this stuff in 5, because I doubt somebody's going to wait until 2031 to announce their intentions to leave a conference. They'll be doing it in 2030, maybe even 2029. Possibly 2028, who the hell knows? Late 28. So there's a lot of moving pieces in this. So what does it mean for the deal? Lump sum. What does it mean? Number one, the TJ's numbers are an estimate. That's what they are. An estimate. And as is all he has there. So the fact is, are they going to get that much? We don't know until the official deal comes out. But I got asked this question: do I think an ACC, Big 12 schools are going to go to the ACC for this deal? Why? Because is every school guaranteed $51 million from now to 2037? That may make some schools jump. But the problem is, if you leave the Big 12 to go to the ACC and that deal plummets, you have no place to go back to, because they won't take you back. And if they do, it'll be at a half share. So you have nowhere to go, so what are you going to do? So would you make the move? ACC, the Big 12 is the same situation. We don't know their media deal comes up in 2031. It's like, everybody thought it was crazy saying this Super League new subdivision would happen in 2031. Everybody's deal except for the SEC's is up, and the Big Ten's up in 2031. And the fact of the matter is, that I've said before, a whole conference can move up. The SEC, the Big Ten would move as a whole. They don't have to worry about their media deal. They can move up. Everybody else would have to be, there's no conference, whole conference can afford it. So the schools would have to be available. When's the schools available? 2031. If it doesn't happen then, I don't think it's happening at all. So, are they going to get $51 million? I don't know. I mean, it's an estimate of what they could get, but Here's a simple point. ESPN and every other media network provider are penny pinchers. They will spend as little as they possibly can for a media deal. They'll spend that little. So the fact is, would you jump everybody up to 10, 20 million a year without a concession? Yeah, like your deal ends in 2031. We'll increase the money, but the deal ends in 2031. But that doesn't make sense either. You could do the deal that, okay, I want to get these schools up here. Hey, I want to get these guys to stay here. Hey, but this is all supposition. For the top schools, 51 million puts them just under the SEC and the Big Ten, puts them in a decent spot. Yeah, it makes sense. What's going to happen for everybody else? I don't know. Well, I've done enough rambling. Why don't you let me know what you think about this down in the comments. So thanks, everybody, for watching the video. If you haven't done it already, do me the favor. Smash the like button. Hit the thumbs up. It helps the algorithm. Helps the videos to be seen by more people. That's YouTube. No, hey, people actually pay attention to this video. They might have watch it. You might have promote it more. Comment on the video. What I've said about all of this on here and the crazy estimates that are going on here. Let me know what you think about all of that. Again, if I've said in the videos, you got multiple points to make. Make multiple comments. A lot of you leave these long phone book comments and you get mad when I leave individual ones. I don't like giving phone book comments anymore because it takes too long and other people will glance over it and not read the whole thing. So having a smaller comment, one paragraph, does better because everybody can read it. Because most people, those long paragraphs, most people don't read them. They'll just skip over it. They'll ignore what you're saying if you do a long comment. I read my comments, but I'm going to break yours up into separate ones because that's how it works. It's easier to respond that way. So, but comment on the video. Share the video if you want to. If you haven't done it already, check out some of the other videos I've done. If you like them, hey, subscribe to the channel. Unbelievable. We just crossed 800 subscribers. I was like finally getting somewhere. And I think it was JEH, but I was on the road to 1,000. Am I crazy for a challenge? I mean, is this crazy? I've gone up 170 something subscribers in the last 6 weeks. Changed the way I did things to more reflect what you guys like. Not what I want, what you want. And it's gone up. So, hey, you listen to your audience. Listen to your people. And they'll tell you what to do. And I did. And you're listening. And you're following. And you're subscribing. Thank you. So, third anniversary of this channel is on June 30th. Am I crazy to think that possibly we might hit 1K by June 30th? Would that be too crazy of a goal to try to get there in 5 months? 4.5 months? Would that be too crazy of a goal to pick up less than 200 subscribers in 4.5 months? Let me know what you think about that in the comments. If you want to follow me on the craziness that is X, a lot of stuff going on down there. So I'm on X pretty much every day, letting you guys know stuff that's going on here. The link for that will be in the description. So thanks everybody for watching. Hope everybody's having. This would be Tuesday. No, actually, no. This will be recording on Monday. I have another one dropping later. This will be the Monday drop. Okay. So thanks everybody for watching on Monday. Starts running together. So thanks everybody for watching. Whoever's having a great day, be safe. Don't get no accidents like I do. Watch out for cars that are parked on an interstate. Because the guy was parked in the middle of the interstate at the night. That's why I didn't see him. He was parked right in the middle of the 94. So be safe and please be good to each other.